Yeah, so let's find a comfortable lying on your back would be the preference for getting started, but if you'd rather sit or do some bigger movements, sun salutations, you can do that, but just explore some way of really settling into your practice, really settling into your practice, arriving. For me, I like this on my back because I can feel and be in contact with so much of the earth, and I have a lot of surface area touching the ground. So, and then as you settle and arrive, what might help you be completely present for 1 hour? Everything else is waiting for us, but what might help you be completely present for this hour? If you're not already there, let's stretch the legs long into Tadasana, arms over your head, behind you on the floor, and open up your sideline by pressing through one heel and the opposite heel. So the up slip, down slip in our hips, just feeling for some space in your ribs. And then taking both feet to the right, sweeping your arms over to the right, just for 2 rounds of breath. Sliding through center, feet to the left, arms to the left. And then back to center, soles of the feet to the floor, and just as wide as your mat, maybe even wider. So we're going to work a little bit today with allowing for space to disappear. In terms of like our relationship with everything else around us. So kind of, you don't have to be relegated to the mat. So if you want to have your feet wider than the mat, and then softly move your knees back and forth. You can be spontaneous and hold, moving at a speed that works for you. And then slowing that movement down, bringing the feet maybe a little closer, hip distance apart. Let's do some cascading bridges or rolling bridges. So as you press up onto your feet and lift your hips, arms come behind. Lots of options here. You can just roll everything back down, hips and hands kind of landing at the same time, or you can leave your arms behind you, backs of your hands on the floor, and roll down, creating a lot of length in the spine, then sweeping the arms back to the starting position. Take about somewhere between 6 and 12 rounds here, depending on your speed. Let it flow. Let it become sort of come from the inside out, that more organic kind of movement. And let it help you really settle into your practice here. Let it help you settle in. And the next time you come down to the ground, Let's take the left ankle on the right thigh. Figure 4, you can pull your knees into your chest. Maybe you take the left hand through the space. Right leg could be bent or straight. And just feel some sensation in the outer left hip here. Take this for about 3 rounds of breath. So holding a little bit longer, see if you can let go of any tension that you feel. Allow your hips to settle down towards the floor. And then place your right foot back to the floor and lean over to the right so that your left foot can touch the floor. Scoot your right foot out of the way. Maybe take your right foot with your left hand and take your right hand to your left leg. So it's a little twist, a little back bend, teeny back bend here, just a little combination of some movement. Great. Release your right foot, slide the right leg back and both feet to the floor. Just a couple of cat-cow movements to neutralize after that asymmetrical movement. And then right ankle on left knee, bring your knees into your chest. Maybe the right hand comes through the space and you can take the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin, but let your thighs or hips, let your hips soften down to the floor. Soften down to the floor. 3 rounds of breath. And then your left foot comes to the floor, right? And then the right foot comes to the floor over to the left, and you scoot the left foot out of the way. Maybe you can take your left foot with your right hand, and maybe your left hand can come to the outside of your right thigh. If you've got all that connected, can you keep dropping, descending your right side, your right rib cage? Slight engagement in the core. And then let go of your left foot, contact made, bring the knees back up, bring both knees now into your chest, crossing your ankles, and just a little side to side movement, massaging lower back, kidney spaces. Great. Stack your knees over your hips here. Stack your knees over your hips, lower legs parallel to one another and the floor, and interlace your hands behind your head. Just an easy yogi curl here. So on your exhale, draw your elbows towards one another, chin into chest, lift your head and shoulders off the floor. And on the inhale, come back to the floor, spread your elbows wide, lift your collarbones, exhale, elbows together, lift head and shoulders towards knees. Inhale, come back down to the floor. Press your forearms into the floor, lift your low back away from the floor. All right, maybe 20 more of those. 12, 20, whatever suits you. Just and feel the engagement in your core. Try not to use your neck muscles for this movement, but allow your head to rest in your hands and really pull your navel into towards the middle of your body, engaging the front of your core. Breath contains the movement. Notice if you're rushing through anything in a hurry. This is the moment to be in. And the next time you come down to the ground, stretch your legs long, stretch your arms overhead, really feel some lengthening in through the front of your core, the muscles in the front of your core. Maybe you can press one rib cage, one side of your rib cage in the direction of that side. So right over to the right and then left over to the left. Kind of a funny movement, but a little snake-like movement. And then either roll to one side and press up or rock up to a seat. And we'll take Sukhasana. And here just spinning through the pelvic bowl, stirring through the pelvic bowl. Feel yourself moving right to left, round in a circle, either direction. Circles can be any size. And you can play around with a big circle, small circle, and change directions. And then come to center and find your sit bones evenly, sitting evenly on your sit bones, front to back, side to side. Let's take the left hand beside our left hip and inhale the right arm up and over. And then as you inhale the next time, you bring the right arm up and just come down, plant the right hand and left arm up and over. So the inhale lifts us up and the exhale takes us into the side bend. Let's do a couple rounds here, just on your own, at your own timing. Maybe you can have close your eyes and visualize this as an opening to others, maybe reaching out to others. Maybe others you wouldn't necessarily have communion with on a regular basis. Once you've done an even number, we'll come back to center. Feel tall through your spine. And then bring your right hand beside your right hip and your left hand to the outside of your right leg and come into a little twist. Back of the neck stays long here. And then as you let this go, sweep over to the other side, right hand to the outside of the left leg and left hand behind you like a little kickstand. Take a couple of rounds of breath, twisting in this direction. And release, come back to center. And now just in this nice upright position, just slight bend forward. Some of you might be able to have hands come to the floor and keep walking your hands out, or if your hands just rest on your thighs, that's fine too. Feel the length through your spine as you lean forward slightly. You'll feel this in your outer hips. Softening the hips down towards the floor. Good, then press back up to a seat and come to hands and knees. So set your knees underneath your hips or a little behind. Set your hands perhaps a little forward of your shoulders. And then just rock back and forth a few times. Coming forward of your hands, reaching your hips back by your heels. Breath contains the movement. Good, and then we're going to flow a little bit here with some combinations of things we do a lot. So inhale, come to the cow. And exhale, drop your elbows to the floor, hips back by your heels, child's pose. Inhale, come to cow. Exhale, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. And here you can stretch through your calves, Achilles tendon. So a couple of back and forth, pedaling the feet, the knees back and forth in this downward dog. And then inhale, come back to cow. Exhale, forearms to the floor, hips back to heels in the child's pose. On your next inhale, stand up on your knees, sweep your arms overhead. And on your exhale, just let your hands float through center and come beside you. Take your right foot forward in proposal pose, hands to the front of your thigh, and come down into a deep lunge. Press yourself back up. Inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. So the right foot is forward here. Arms are now extended overhead. And then release your left hand to your left hamstring and do a slight side bend to the left. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, hands to the front thigh. Turn your back toes under and press up, straightening the back leg. Reach the right arm forward and up. So the left leg is back and extended, and the right arm is stretching forward. Good. Inhale here. Exhale, turn the back toes and back foot and open up into warrior two. Inhale. Exhale, really settle into your warrior. Inhale, turn the front palm, reach forward, and exhale, take your front arm back hand on the back leg, exalted warrior. Inhale, sweep forward. Exhale, warrior two. Find a good strong warrior two. Next, inhale, straighten the front leg. Bring both hands above your head. Turn your feet parallel to one another. And exhale, fold through center. Bring both hands to the mat or a block in a big, wide forward fold. So our forward folds all move and lengthen different parts of the hamstring here. So wide-legged forward fold, great. Feet together, all good stuff. Walk your hands forward so the hands and the upper body are in a downward dog position. Draw your kneecaps up. Maybe you could rest your head here on a block, a little inversion, and then walk your feet back, your hands back, sorry, back to center. Turn your left foot out. Turn your left foot out and spin or press up to warrior two in this direction. Great. Good. Inhale, flip the front palm, reach that hand forward. Exhale, bring that arm over your ear. Right hand comes down the right thigh, exalted warrior. And come back to warrior two. Good. Next inhale, you'll turn your back foot and sweep your arms up so you're in a high crescent lunge. Leave the back leg lifted. All right, so now the right leg is back, left foot is forward, and bring your left arm forward. Left arm forward. Then both hands down around the front foot. Drop your back knee and slide your left foot back to left knee back so you're in back to table. Inhale to cow. And exhale, drop your forearms to the floor, bring your hips back down to child's pose. Inhale, come up to cow. Exhale, toes under, downward facing dog. Nice wide feet here in this downward dog. Again, pedaling through your legs. And then inhale, back to cow. Exhale, forearms to the floor, child's pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up as you stand up on your knees. And exhale, let your hands float through center. Good. Bring the right foot forward. Oh, I think we're on the left. Let's bring the left foot forward. Yep. Good. And then hands to the front of your thigh. Come into that deep lunge, that low lunge again. Inhale, sweep arms up. And now on the exhale, right hand to the right hamstring. And leaning into or side bending into that right side. Inhale to come back up with the both arms. You're in the proposal pose. Exhale, hands down around the front foot or on the front thigh. Turn the toes under in the back foot and straighten the back leg. Come back up, crescent lunge. Right leg is back, left leg is forward, crescent lunge. Turn the back foot and find warrior two again on this side. Inhale here, exhale, come into nice solid warrior two. And then straighten the front leg and tilt forward. Just have your hand rest, your front hand rest wherever it needs to in the tilt. So it could be on your thigh, could be on your shin, and come into Trikonasana, the triangle pose. Next, inhale, bend through the front legs, sweep your arms back, warrior two. Exhale, feel the strength of your legs. Push that left foot forward isometrically to really get the weight on the back foot. Next, inhale, straighten your legs, both feet face in the same direction, hands overhead, and exhale, hands through heart center. Turn the right foot now to line up parallel with the long edge of the mat and come down into warrior two on this side. Right foot forward, left foot back. Press the right foot forward isometrically and feel how that loads the back foot. Inhale to straighten the front leg, reach the side ribs forward and tilt into Trikonasana on this side. You could definitely use a block if you want, but we're just flowing. So I like when we're flowing just to put my hand on my shin or my thigh, find Trikonasana that way. Inhale, bend through the front leg, find warrior two again. And then on your next inhale, you'll turn that back foot, pivoting into crescent lunge. Reach the hands, reach the fingertips. And on your exhale, bring your hands down around the front foot. Scoot your right foot out to the side, your hands on the inside of that foot. Okay, you could bring your knee down here if you want, or keep your leg lifted, but open up the front inner thigh as much as possible. So if you bring your knee down, sometimes it's a little easier to get that leg out. You can stay up on the back. The back leg can be extended if you want. So the lizard shape. Good. And then press your hips back as you release the front foot. Come back to downward facing dog. Inhale, drop the knees, come to cow. Exhale, forearms to the floor, hips back by your heels, child's pose. Take a few rounds in child's pose here, rounds of breath, and feel your back body widen. So less separation from, feel like maybe your back body is extending out beyond the edges of your mat. Good. Next inhale, come up to cow. And then exhale, turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up towards your hands. And as wide as the edge of your mat, and sit your hips back so that you're in a deep squat. Bring the arms forward. And then slowly press up to standing. Take your time, you might be a little dizzy, and let your hands float through heart center. Hands to your sides in a Tadasana shape. And then inhale, sweep arms up, and exhale, fold. Bring your hands to the floor, bring your left foot forward and your right foot back. Find that high crescent lunge again. Lifting the right leg, the back leg. And then exhale, hands come through heart center, down to the floor. Scoot the left leg out, the left foot out, and find the lizard shape on this side. So back leg can be lifted or knee can be on the ground, but you're opening the left leg out to the side, opening the inner seam. Great. Now everybody take your back knee down to the floor and slip your right leg back. Find the child's pose again. Inhale, come up to cow. And exhale, neutral spine, table. Inhale, reach the left leg out behind you. And then sweep your left leg out to the left. Take the sole of your foot to the floor and slide your leg away as you bring your forearms to the floor and hips back towards heels. Inhale, come back up to table shape with the left leg out to the left. And inhale, sweep the left leg back behind you again. Exhale, take it to the outside of the right side of your body and take your gaze over to your left foot. Turn the toes under on your left foot and open up the bottom of your foot, pressing your heel away, toes under. Inhale the left leg back out behind you and extend your right arm. On the exhale, bring your knee and your elbow together. Inhale, stretch out long, knee and elbow together. And then some of you will remember we did this a little differently last time. So on this next time, you'll bring your knee in towards your chest and sweep your right arm back behind you. And then extend arm and leg long. Then bring your knee into your chest, but extend your right arm alongside your right side of your body long. Okay, just a little different balance. The next time you're extended long, take both hands back to the mat, both knees back to the mat, and go through a couple of cat-cows. A couple of cat-cow movements to neutralize your spine after the asymmetrical work. Then inhale, take the right leg long, sweep it out to the right, take the sole of your foot to the floor and slide your right foot out as you slide your hips back towards your heels. Could be on your forearms here. You should feel this in your inner thigh. And then inhale to come back up, reach the right leg behind you, cross it over your left leg, turn the toes under. Press equally through your hands here. So toes are turned under, you're stretching that right calf, and look over your left shoulder at your foot. And even if you can't see it, just imagine that you can see it. Inhale the right leg out behind you, left arm. So second side. On the exhale, bring elbow and knee together. Inhale, everything comes long. Do a couple rounds here. Breath contains the movement. And then we switch it up. So as the knee comes in, the left arm just sweeps back behind us. It's kind of like a skating motion. Imagine if you were, pushing off and skating, you bring your arms behind, right? Cool. And then both hands back, both knees back, couple of rounds of cat-cow. As you inhale and come to cow this time, pause there, we'll get all together. Exhale, forearms to the floor, hips back to heels, child's pose. Inhale, on your next inhale, now sweep up on your knees, both arms go up overhead. And exhale, let your arms float down to your sides. Balancing now on your knees, let's bring the right foot forward. Right foot forward, bring your hands back to the top of your thighs and come into that deep lunge one more time. From the deep lunge, hands on your thighs, or you could try without the hands on the thighs, turn the back toes under and press up into, into a high lunge. Reach the arms overhead, crescent lunge. Good. Inhale here, fingertips high. Exhale, hands down around the front foot. And draw your hips back, 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 back. As you release that front foot, come to downward facing dog. Inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. Exhale, forearms to the floor, hips back to heels, child's pose. Inhale, stand up on your knees, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, let your hands float through heart center and release down to your sides. Balancing on your knees, now bring your left foot forward. Hands to the front of your thigh, come into the deep lunge. And then either using blocks, the wall, whatever, turn the back toes under and press your back leg straight, reach the arms overhead, crescent lunge. Lifting the back hamstring towards the ceiling. Maybe take your gaze up and test your balance here. Inhale, fingertips reach to the ceiling. Exhale, hands down around the front foot or the blocks. And then draw your hip back as you straighten your front leg. As you keep drawing the hip back, you should be able to release the front leg and come to downward facing dog. Inhale, drop your knees, come to cow. Exhale, forearms to the floor, hips back, child's pose. Inhale, sweep your arms up as you stand up on your knees. And keep your hands now above your head, interlace your thumbs and press the fingers up towards the ceiling. Turn both toes, sets of toes under, all 10 toes under. So you're balancing on your knees, toes turned under, and hands reaching towards the ceiling. Good. Then release the right hand to the right heel. And so you're leaning back, you're pressing the hips forward to sort of a half Ustrasana, camel, and then inhale, reach the arms back up, both arms, change the cross of your thumbs. reach, maybe take a gaze up towards your hands and see how that challenges your balance a little differently. Then release the left hand to the left heel. Inhale, sweep both arms back up. And exhale, let the arms float down. Keep the toes turned under as you sit back on your feet, or your heels, rather, your hips to your heels in broken toe pose. Bring the arms out in front, and on your inhale, reach your arms back, maybe spreading the fingers wide or thumbs out like hitchhike your thumbs. And on the exhale, round your back, bring your hands together. The feet are still in the same position. They're in the broken toe pose, but we're going to kind of ignore them and do some opening in the chest. So inhale to open up, really drawing shoulder blades together on your back. And then exhale, round your back, bring your hands together in front of your body. So inhale and exhale. That sweeping motion with the hands. We won't stay too long, I promise. Good. Inhale. And then after this next inhale, press back up to standing. Bring your arms above your head. Release the toes and slap the tops of your feet on the floor. Fold down, reaching the hands forward. Keep your hips reaching back. Tent your fingers and roll your triceps down towards the floor. So it's a child's pose, but it's very active. So the arms are engaged. Roll the triceps down towards the floor. Fingers are tented, so you could put a little something underneath your palm, like a ball there. Good. And then on your next inhale, come back up to cow. Turn toes under, press up and back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up towards your hands. And as wide as the edge of your mat, take a deep squat, reaching the arms forward. So deep squat, arms are forward. We're going to hold here. So press your legs together into an imaginary block, squeezing the legs together, pressing your feet into the floor. Our release is going to be a forward fold. So hands come down to the mat, press hips up, and fold your chin in. We're going to do that a couple times. So on your next inhale, deep squat, hands forward. And on your exhale, hands to the mat, hips up, and then tuck into the fold. Okay, any amount of bend in your knees for the fold is fine. So inhale, you drop your hips, bring your arms forward. And on the exhale, hands back to the mat, press your hips up as you tuck into the fold. Inhale, drop your hips, reach your arms forward. This time we'll stand up. So pressing up, take your time, might be a little dizzy, and then let your hands just float down to your sides. Find Tadasana here. Find Tadasana here. All right, and in this Tadasana, can you close your eyes momentarily? Let the palms be facing forward. Soften your shoulder tops. Ooh. Feel your heart beating. Great, good stuff, everybody. Good, and then open your eyes and take your feet wide. We'll take the feet wide here. Good, and bending through the right knee, draw the hands over to the right. And then press to open, or press and inhale and straighten the right leg, and then bend through the left leg and bring the hands over to the left. So it's just a kind of a flowy, I'm going to come back and forth, right? When I bend through the right leg, my hands go right. When I bend through the left leg, my hands go left. The next time you come to the right, set your right forearm on your right thigh, turn that right foot so it lines up with the long edge of your mat, turn your back heel out and come into extended side angle. Good. Inhale to press yourself up. You'll come through warrior two. So settle on the exhale, then on the inhale, straighten the front leg, bring your arms up and float the arms through center. So we're back in that big wide legged stance. And let's do a few more rounds of bending one leg and bringing the arms in that direction. Same thing we were just doing. And then the next time you bend through the left knee and you bring your arms over there, turn that foot so that it comes all the way parallel to the long edge of your mat. Turn your back heel, your right heel, bring your left forearm to your thigh and come into extended side angle. Drop your left shoulder away from your ear. Then inhale, sweep top arm up. Come back to warrior two. Inhale, straighten the front leg. Bring both arms overhead and float your arms through center on your exhale. Heel toe your feet together so they're a little closer and interlace your hands behind your back. And then just take a fold here, bringing your arms off your back body as much as possible. And I'd say orient yourself now to your mat. So you're not lined up on the long edge, but you're straddling maybe the mat the way I am, so that you can now let your hands come down to the mat, heel toe your feet together, and step or jump back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, high dandasana, and exhale any way you like down to the floor. Great. And once you're down on the floor, make a little pillow with your hands or rest the forehead on that pillow. Press into your forearms and lift. So just starting with a little baby back bend here. And you can repeat that a number of times, 6 to 12 to 20, just lifting out of this position with the strength of your back. Okay. Keep the back of your neck long, keep your core engaged, navel pulling away from the floor. Good. And then we'll release the arms alongside our body. And we'll come into locust. So bring your shoulder tops away from the floor, hands up towards the ceiling. Lift your head and shoulders. You can leave your legs on the floor or lift your legs. You can keep your legs wide or squeeze them together and do any combination of those things. We'll do this a few times. So on your next exhale, lowering back to the floor and taking one cheek to the floor and softly moving your hips back and forth. So when we do this work, you really are going to connect with your heart space. You're really going to feel your heart rate increase. So here's where I'd ask you to think about that intention of giving some love to someone who might need it right now. Someone who might need your extra heart attention. Okay. So setting up, maybe doing maybe doing 4 rounds of this, 6 rounds of this, whatever feels appropriate for you today. And taking the time in between to lower back to the floor, really resting here with a full resting breath, rocking the hips slightly back and forth. And just whatever feels like calling you for numbers here for repetitions, and then I'll guide in just a couple minutes. All right, the next time you're lifted, and those of you that are lifted, just waiting, bend through your elbows, and without touching the floor, bend through your elbows and bring your hands to line up with the low ribs, and then press yourself through table and reach your hips back towards your heels in child's pose. Inhale to come back up to cow, and then find a neutral spine. Find a neutral spine. Take a few rounds of cat-cow here. You know, just you can add some circling if that feels nice in your body. And then we'll bring the left knee towards the left wrist. So we'll go into some version of pigeon-like shape. So as you bring your left knee towards your left wrist, you can slide your right leg back. You can prop something underneath your left hip. And depending on your knees, and many other things, you can work with this front leg somewhat parallel to the front edge of your mat, or tucked in a little bit more. Or if that doesn't work, any of that doesn't work, you're going to come down, take your left ankle on your right thigh again. Just do your pigeon shape on your back. So you can even play with tucking the left heel right underneath your left thigh and just doing a little kind of rocking back and forth on that. So you decide what works for you. And it might be the limitation is in your knee. It might be the limitation is in your hip, but find some opening in that left hip again, some lengthening there as you play in the pigeon shape. If you're on your back, please rock back up and find the left foot tucked in, and take the right foot to the outside of the left leg. If you're on your belly, if you're in pigeon on your belly, simply just walk yourself back up and swing your right foot around to the outside of your left leg. So everybody ends up in this position. Bottom leg, left leg could be extended long. Sit up nice and tall here, and then just take a twist to the right. And then bring your gaze back forward and over your left shoulder. And you can play with walking this right hand back out, whatever, kind of feels nice in your shoulder area, the upper trapezius or the somewhere in the rotator cuff family. You could externally rotate this back arm. Okay. And from here, right leg is now bent. You can come right to the other side with pigeon with the right knee bent, Again, you can prop under the right thigh, and you can have any amount of this the lower leg parallel to the front of the mat, any amount, and or be on your back with your right foot, right ankle on the left knee, kind of where we started earlier. Choose what feels great to you. You stay upright. If you're in the more traditional pigeon, you can stay upright, or you could bring your forearms to the floor, draping over the front knee. And if you're feeling tense, if you're feeling like there's a lot of holding there, see if you can have a very intentional letting go. Letting things be soft in your hips. Same thing, we're gonna walk ourselves up if we're on our bellies. And if we're on our backs, we're gonna come to this sitting position with the right foot in now. Swing the left leg around, it comes to the outside of the right thigh. Knees can be bent, or this bottom leg could be straight. Either is fine. Take both hands on the left knee to start, and really lengthen through your spine here. And then come into the twist. You know, if you want to take your forearm to the outside of your thigh, you can. I don't recommend it, but we can have a little softer twist here. Put some engagement in this outstretched leg, if you got the outstretched leg going. And then you can play around with this backhand. Maybe you want to externally rotate that arm and work a little bit of movement in the front of your shoulder. Maybe you can reach your fingertips out or in or behind a little bit more, and work some release in the traps, the upper trapezius. Anyway, gaze is over the left shoulder now. And then we'll bring our gaze forward and take it over the right shoulder. Okay. Unwind. And bring your feet into Baddha Konasana. So any amount of, be able to have your feet right in next to your groin, knees out. I've got a lot of openness in my knees and hips. You might have your feet out a little further, your legs more like a diamond shape. Anything's fine. But wherever you are, press a little bit, feet together, press the feet together. You might need to have your hands behind your back to keep your spine nice and tall. And then let's just work in the neck just slightly. So bring your chin into your chest and bring your chin to the left shoulder, through center to towards the right shoulder. And just sweeping back and forth a few times. If it helps to bring your hands to the front of your ankles or your shins to keep you with a nice tall spine, you can do that as well. And then we'll go head forward, chin back like you're making a double chin, and then drop your left ear to your left shoulder, center, right ear to right shoulder. And then as it feels appropriate for you, you can do some half circles, or maybe even a full circle. I don't like to bring my head super far back. It kind of doesn't feel great to me, but half circles or full circles, working through any neck tension. being very aware of your own limitations in your cervical spine. We'll come back to center and bring the knees, use your hands, bring your knees together here. Walk your feet out, take the back of your thighs, come down to the floor. Draw your knees into your chest one more time and rock back and forth. And now you can kind of extend this rocking. If it helps to separate the ankles, at the ankles, you can do that and just come into this big knees going back and forth. You could add the arms at some point, like I don't know, this reminds me of like sort of a dead bug. But pretty flowy, a lot of movement. You could change the movement with your arms and sweep one arm behind as you bring them over to the same side as your knees. Lots going on. Just make it nice and make it yours. And then as you kind of come back to center again, we'll change it up a little bit. So as you come to the left knee stays bent, right leg goes long, then back to center. To the right knee stays bent, left leg stretches out long. And go back and forth with that a few times. Any variation on the theme is fine. Maybe you circle the straight leg over to the other side and bend it. Any variation on a theme. Good. Then gradually coming back to center, soles of the feet back to the floor. And here we go. We're going to go back to a few rolling bridges. So reaching the hips up on the inhale and on the exhale, rolling down one vertebra at a time. Sweeping the arms back in place, or as you lift, as you come back down, arms come down with hips. Anything is fine here. Just a lot of the whole body involved here as we move towards Shavasana. And we packed a lot in. We did a lot of very familiar shapes and movements. So you find a way to come back to settling into the earth. Maybe it's a happy baby. Maybe it's another twist. Maybe you're just ready to bring the legs long. You can also go to some wall space and take legs up a wall or onto some furniture. But don't skip this part. Allow yourself to have a few moments in Shavasana where you feel the support of your props, the floor, the wall, the furniture. And you can close your eyes down. And settle back into the earth. Let your legs be heavy. Arms are heavy and relaxed. Soften your hands. Soften your hands again. Release any tension in your jaw. You could take the jaw side to side, toggling the jaw, releasing any tension there. See if you can really relax around the mouth so the teeth are not touching. And relax your tongue all the way back to the root of your tongue. Lips just barely touching. Soften the lines around your eyes, between your brow and on your forehead. And here you just might invite a few internal ohms, just a humming vibration. And coming back to the heart intention for someone, anyone, could be just anyone who's suffering right now. Part of the body. Blessings for the day. Namaste.